Ever heard that moss always grows on the north side of trees? Think again. This myth is as old as the hills, but is there any truth to it? Many people believe it because in the northern hemisphere, the sun tends to shine more from the south, creating a damper, shadier environment on the north side of trees, which some moss species love. But here's the rub. Moss isn't picky. Moss can grow on any side of a tree, east, west, north, or south. It depends more on local conditions like humidity, shade, and the tree's bark type. So if you're lost in the woods and looking for a compass, moss isn't your best bet. It's a survivor, just like you, adapting to whatever conditions it finds. So, next time you're lost in the woods, don't rely on moss for directions. Drinking urine to stay hydrated sounds logical, right? Wrong. Let's delve into this myth, which may have originated from tales of survival where individuals resort to drinking their urine when water is scarce. It might seem like a practical solution in a pinch, but it's far from it. Urine is your body's way of excreting waste products. It's essentially a cocktail of water, salts, and other compounds that your body has decided it doesn't need. Now imagine putting all that back into your system when you're already dehydrated. Not only does this not quench your thirst, but it can also exacerbate dehydration due to its high salt content. Drinking urine is a desperate measure that can do more harm than good. In survival situations, it's crucial to find a reliable source of water, and this is definitely not it. So remember, when you're thirsty in the wild, urine is not the answer. You've been bitten by a snake, quick, suck out the venom. Or not. It's a line we've heard in countless movies and TV shows, right? But here's the truth. It's a myth, and a dangerous one at that. Imagine you've been bitten by a snake. The venom is coursing through your veins. Your first instinct might be to try and remove it, but attempting to suck out the venom is about as effective as trying to unspill a glass of water. The venom spreads far and fast and your mouth can't keep up. Not only is this method ineffective, but it can also lead to further tissue damage. Plus, you're potentially introducing bacteria from your mouth into the open wound. It's a lose-lose situation. The best course of action? Seek medical attention immediately. Let the professionals handle it. So don't suck out snake venom, seek help instead. Rubbing frostbitten skin, a good idea or a harmful myth? Let's break the ice on this chilly misconception. This myth likely comes from the instinctive reaction to heat up cold hands by rubbing them together. But when it comes to frostbite, this is a dangerous mistake. Frostbite occurs when skin and underlying tissues freeze. Rubbing can cause ice crystals within the tissue to lacerate cells, leading to further damage. The correct course of action is to gently warm the affected area. Use body heat if possible, tuck frostbitten fingers into your armpits, for example. Or use lukewarm water, never hot, as the skin will be sensitive and could easily burn. The key here is gradual rewarming, to allow the blood flow to return slowly and prevent tissue damage. So next time you're frostbitten, remember, no rubbing, treat with care and warmth, and save your skin from a frosty fate. A shelter made solely of rocks, a solid idea or a rocky myth? Let's break it down. At first glance, a rock shelter might seem like a survivalist's dream. Rocks are sturdy, abundant in many areas, and they have a certain primal appeal. But there's a catch. While rocks can provide a degree of insulation, a shelter made entirely of rocks isn't the cozy cave you might imagine. Here's why. Rocks, though solid, are not great insulators. They can absorb heat during the day, but they quickly lose that heat when the sun goes down. This means that a rock shelter can become incredibly cold at night. And let's not forget, rain can seep through the gaps between rocks, making your shelter damp and uncomfortable. So, what's the solution? Variety. Incorporating other materials like branches or leaves can greatly improve insulation and comfort. So when building a shelter, remember to incorporate other materials. Eating snow to hydrate, a cool idea or a chilling mistake? You might think that all that white fluff is a godsend when you're parched and stranded, but hold off on the snow cones. This survival myth has been around for ages, perhaps born from the desperate need for hydration in snowy environments. However, the reality is far from this frosty fantasy. Ingesting snow directly can lower your body temperature significantly. You see, it takes a considerable amount of energy for your body to melt the snow and raise it to a temperature that's safe for consumption. This process can lead to hypothermia, a dangerous condition where your body loses heat faster than it can produce it. And let's not forget about potential contaminants. Snow can harbor bacteria, parasites, and pollutants, adding to your list of survival woes. So, what should you do instead? Melt that snow first and then boil it. This way, you'll have clean, safe water for hydration. Remember, melt and boil the snow before you drink it. Eating wild berries without identification, a sweet survival trick or a bitter mistake? Now it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that all wild berries are a free, nutritious snack. After all, they're just hanging there ripe for the picking, right? Well, not so fast. While some wild berries are indeed safe to consume, others are far from it. Consuming unidentified berries can lead to severe health consequences. Some can cause mild discomfort, while others can be downright deadly. Just because a berry looks appetizing doesn't mean it's safe to eat. In fact, some of the most toxic berries are often the most enticing. The truth is, without proper knowledge or identification tools, you're playing a dangerous game of Russian roulette with every bite. So when it comes to wild berries, don't let your stomach guide your decisions. Always identify before you ingest. Using alcohol to warm up, a hot tip, or a cold myth. If you've ever watched an old movie where a St. Bernard rescue dog carries a barrel of brandy to a snowbound traveler, you might think that alcohol is a good way to fend off the chill. This notion has been around for centuries, perpetuated by tales of sailors and explorers braving the Arctic cold with the help of a stiff drink. But is there any truth to it? Well, here's the cold, hard reality. While alcohol does create a temporary sensation of warmth, it's actually a physiological trick. Alcohol causes your blood vessels to dilate or expand, which increases blood flow to your skin. This gives you a warm, flushed feeling, but it's fleeting. In fact, this dilation allows more heat to escape from your body, making you lose warmth faster. So, the next time you're caught in a blizzard, remember this: alcohol isn't your friend. So avoid alcohol in cold weather survival situations. Purifying water with bleach, a clear solution or a cloudy myth? Now, bleach can indeed be used to disinfect water. However, it's not as simple as adding a splash and calling it safe. The process is a delicate one, requiring precise measurements and careful handling. Too much bleach, and you're looking at a harmful concoction. Too little, and the water's still unsafe. To make matters more complex, the concentration of bleach can vary from brand to brand. So, a safe amount in one case might be dangerous in another. It's a risky game to play, especially when the stakes are as high as your health. Instead, consider portable water filtration or purification systems. These systems are designed to make water safe for consumption with no guesswork involved. They're reliable, easy to use, and most importantly, they're safe. Remember, portable water filtration or purification systems are safer. Building a fire by rubbing two sticks together, a heated survival trick, or a cold myth. This notion is as old as time, seeping into our collective consciousness through popular culture and old tales of survival. But is it truly a reliable method? Well, it's not as simple as it seems. While it's true that friction can produce fire, the devil is in the detail. Friction fires aren't just about rubbing any two sticks together. They require specific types of wood, a well-crafted fireboard and spindle, and a whole lot of patience and elbow grease. And let's not forget, these elements might not always be readily available in a survival situation. So, what should you do? It's wise to carry reliable fire-starting tools and know a variety of techniques. Remember, in a survival scenario, the key is efficiency, not exertion. So, don't rely solely on two sticks to start your fire. Playing dead to deter animal attacks, a life-saving tactic, or a deadly myth. This is a strategy that has been passed down through generations, a survival tip that many of us have taken to heart. It's the idea that if you're faced with a dangerous animal, your best bet is to drop to the ground and pretend you're lifeless. But is this really the best course of action? Well, not always. Contrary to popular belief, playing dead may not always deter an animal attack. In fact, some animals may still attack if they perceive a threat, regardless of whether their target is moving or not. This is particularly true for predators that are defending their territory or their young. Instead of playing dead, it's often more effective to slowly back away from the animal, making yourself appear larger and more assertive. Remember, the goal is to convince the animal that you are not a threat, but also not an easy target. Remember, look larger and assertive, but don't play dead. Hiding under an overpass during a tornado, a safe haven, or a dangerous myth? Let's dive into this misconception that has gained traction over the years. The idea probably took root from the notion that the structure of an overpass could provide a shield against the destructive force of a tornado, but here's where the myth unravels. Overpasses can actually intensify the risk during a tornado. How so? Well, these structures can create wind tunnels, amplifying the wind speed and force. This effect can turn debris into lethal projectiles, making your supposed shelter a danger zone. So the next time you find yourself caught in the path of a whirlwind, remember this: overpasses are not your friend. Instead, your best bet is to seek shelter in a low-lying area or a sturdy building. So, seek shelter in a low-lying area or sturdy building instead.